All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It looks like X is requiring for me to have a premium channel or to pay for it in order for me to stream on their platform. So I'm not paying for X, so I no longer will be able to stream. I don't even know if I'm able to upload over there or not. And I know Facebook did the change too. So I won't be streaming to Facebook or looks like X because I just saw the notification come across StreamYard. All right. So if you see me, you're seeing me on YouTube and Twitch. So those are the two platforms that I'm able to stream on at this particular point in my juncture. But good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. This is Pamela, and you are watching Pam Entertainment TV, where we review movies, television series, and incidents in pop culture to see how those incidents may or may not affect our daily lives. Listen, I've been gone for a minute now. I'm back with the jump off. I'm sorry. So I wanted to come on here to do a little weekly roundup, and just to let you know what's going on. Stunt Shows and Shenanigans starts its second season this weekend. So we will see the stunts, the shows, and the shenanigans that have happened through the week. But I wanted to come on here really quickly to do a weekly recap of what's been going on in the news. And so I wanted to do that. Is everything is going to be brief, but please make sure that you you comment, and subscribe to this channel. Please share this video if you care. You see it going down the bottom of the screen. All ways of support are acceptable. I appreciate it. But if you cannot provide any monetary, you can definitely hit that like button. That like button helps me and it helps my engagement. Okay, people? All right, so let's get into this. First, I want to do the RIPs. So I just want to tell you, I just came back from a family reunion. I didn't get to fellowship like I wanted to because, I had to work on Saturday. But I was able to fellowship and have a good time, and also make sure that I was keeping up with the people who I am a member with and all of this other stuff and reading up and everything like that. So during this weekend, a lot of things happened. First, let me get the RIPs out of the way. First of all, RIP to Shelley Duvall. If you're not familiar with her, she was the wife of Jack Nicholson in The Shining, and she was also in one of my cult classic movies, Popeye, which was probably one of the horrible movies. However, she sung the little large song. And I just love that song. I love that. I love that song just because it's quirky, it's crazy, and it makes no kind of sense. So rest in peace, Shelley Duvall. Also, we want to do an RIP to Richard Simmons. If you're not familiar with Richard Simmons was an exercise and weight loss guru. He helped, I'm just gonna tell y'all, I believe he helped millions of women and men lose weight. And also, he, I wouldn't say that he was the initiator of the body positivity movement, but what I will say is he was the initiator of, if when you decide that you're going to lose weight, he was making sure that he was going to be a support system. You know how you hear now people being very supportive of people wanting to lose weight and all those different things. Back in the late 70s, early 80s, going into the 90s, you were shame was a big thing. And I hear a lot of people on the social medias want to go back to shame. But if you didn't live through the era of being shamed for who you were, everything you did, if you weren't perfect, if you didn't live through that era, you don't know the horrors of it. And he took the shame, and he took the bad feelings out of it. He made sure that people understood that if you were going to be losing weight, that you need to be focused. You need to feel good about it. You don't need to worry about what other people say, because this is a battle and a journey with yourself. If you don't have a support system, he was going to be that support system. And his whole situation that he had going on, he did, and he definitely helped a lot of people with that. So rest in peace to Richard Simmons. We're also going to get on to Dr. Ruth. Now, I don't know what Dr. Ruth's last name is, but I've always known her as Dr. Ruth. Dr. Ruth, when I was younger, she was the person that took the stigmatism out of talking about sex, talking about being pleasured within sex. She came along during this like the sexual revolution that the boomers had. She came along during that time period. She definitely, well, and also the silent generation as well. She definitely came out and asked questions because you had a lot of housewives that were working and they were isolated by themselves, and then they find themselves with STDs or questions about how to be better sexually. She definitely answered those questions for those young women, and answer those questions for those men. She also brought awareness to STDs and what they were, because can you imagine, there were just groups of women, particularly women who did not work or work in the workforce, who did not have support systems in place. All they were doing was raising and rearing the children. So if there was something that happened and they got this, that again, and I talk about, you all didn't live through, especially if you all are millennials and Gen Zers, you all didn't live through the level of shame, that whole idea of shame that came up. How, everything was, if you, anyway, shout out to Dr. Ruth to be that voice to talk about those things, to talk about these different sexual things for people, particularly for couples, for women, and things like that. So rest in peace for her. Also, let's see, it is Shelley. I did Richard Simmons, Shannon Doherty. She gone, y'all. If you're not familiar with, in my generation, we remember Shannon on 90210. Her character on 90210, she was there. And Luke Perry's character always had a thing going on. And also, if you remembered her on Charm, she was she Prue? Was she Prue on Charmed? I can't remember. It's been a while because when her and Alyssa started cutting up so bad, and one of them left. I think Shannon left, and all this other stuff. I just chose not to watch it anymore. But if you're familiar with her, she played on 90210. She played on a lot of different movies and things like that. And I know she did some Lifetime movies. She died here of having brain cancer. If you all familiar with her, probably about 10, maybe 15 years ago, she was diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer. And then it had spread. It was in remission, and then it came back. And when it came back as brain cancer. And she had been going through chemo. She'd been doing a whole lot of different things like that. So shout out, rest in peace to Shannon Doherty. She was just somebody that we watched consistently on TV, again in 90210. So that's Shelley, that's Richard Simmons, that's Dr. Ruth, and that's Shannon Doherty. So that's the four people that I remember that have passed away. I know that have been others. I was talking about the people that I remember in my lifetime. I know that there was a football player that passed away. I'm not familiar with him, but rest in peace to him as well. So let's get into some of the issues. If you all have been hiding under a rock, let me go ahead and share my screen. So this happened on Friday. The case against Alex Baldwin had been dismissed. And so I'm not going to go through this article with you all. I just wanted to show this is what we're going to be talking about, because as I was going to the place of my family reunion, I watched this Joker in real time. So I will tell you the gist of what happened. So as the prosecution was laying out their case, they had a crime scene investigator come on, and they were talking about bullets and things like that. And somewhere in there, it was mentioned that there was uh, a man who was a friend of Hannah Gutierrez's father. it was mentioned that he had come into the police station during the time that Hannah Gutierrez's jury was deliberating. If I'm getting my things, but he came into the police station and he bought this big box of bullets in, saying that he thought that these bullets, he didn't know if they were related, but he didn't wove the story that he had worked on another film crew. He worked with the was 1883. He worked on there, and those were these bullets in this green can were used as target practice for that particular movie to teach the actors how to shoot. He says that particular tin can then went out of his possession. I think it went over to Hannah Gutierrez's father's possession, but got back into his possession. And he was thinking that these bullets may have been the bullets that were mixed in, because there were live rounds in this can, this green can of bullets. There were live rounds in these green can of bullets, and he was thinking that possibly these bullets may sync with the bullets were at the Rust case, and it may explain that somehow kind of way those bullets got mixed in, because I don't think they really understood how those live rounds got there. There was a lot of conspiracy theories, with the sloppiness of handling the ammunition on trial, on the Rust case, and people having the ability to go by the cart and mess with it. It wasn't as secure as it was supposed to have been, I guess, by standards. And plus the fact that there weren't supposed to be any live rounds on any film set at all. So they were talking about that, and the crime scene investigator was talking about these things, and she said, "Well, we had a meeting about it. He came in, we talked to him, but we had filed that under a different case number." And that perked up the defense, and that perked up the judge's ear. She said, "What do you mean under another case number? Did it have anything to do with the Rust?" He can't, she said that the crime scene investigator said, technician said that, well, they came in and he talked about, he thought that they were, and that they had a meeting with him, an interview with him, the police officer, because they had body cam footage of who was at this interview. That he came in, the lead investigator talked to him, this crime scene technician was in there, and then there was an officer. Then he came in and he talked about these particular bullets. Now, I don't know if that had an effect on the Hannah Gutierrez case, but the way it had an effect on the Alec Baldwin case is this man came in, he talked about this ammunition. Instead of filing this information under the Rust trial, because he made the assumption that these could uh be the bullets that have come in and have been mixed in with the stuff that was going on with the Rust case. Now, let me just go back a little bit. So, Hannah Gutierrez was the armorer. Hannah Gutierrez's father is a well-known armorer on several different westerns and things like that back in the day. So she received some of her stuff from her father, and they're basically saying that maybe that's how those bullets got in. Like I said, for Hannah's case, I don't think it's going to make a big difference because she was the armorer. She was charged to make sure that she had dummy rounds. If she saw anything that didn't look like the stuff that she had purchased from wherever she purchased what she purchased, she was supposed to take care of that. She was supposed to only put on set what she knew to be safe. And that's not what happened. So, but in Alex Baldwin case, now I will tell you, if you remember just my little overviews, his defense team won the argument that he was not going to be held accountable in this particular case as a producer. They were arguing that he was negligent, that he should have known that the bullets or anything were supposed to be safe. The defense was arguing that wasn't his job. His job was to check to make sure the bullets was in the thing, but he didn't know or was supposed to know. All he knew was that on all movie sets there are to be no live rounds. So whatever he had done and all those different things, he is making sure he just wanted as an actor to know that there was no That was the case. That's what the defense won. Then the defense lost, and they seemed a little flummoxed the day before Friday. So that was Thursday. They seemed a little flummoxed because what happened was is that the prosecution was able to get in Alec Baldwin's interview with George Stephanopoulos, where he was in there pontificating and being delusions of grandeur, talking about how he was the expert of the expert when it comes to firearms and all this little different stuff like that. So the prosecution was able to get that information in. Uh, However, let's get back to Friday. What happened on Friday? So the judge started asking questions. She asked the question of the crime scene technician. Well, where is this evidence? She said, well, I was told to file this, put the evidence in, and it was filed under a different case number. Baby, the way the judge was pro prosecution, the way her mouth got tight, you didn't even see a lip. You didn't see her lips after that. She was tight. She was very upset because she started looking like, well, who was in this meeting? Well, they brought in, it was all dramatic. The judge got off the bench. She went around the table that's in front that everybody can see. She went there, put on her some gloves, made everybody else put on some gloves. They pulled out they found that case number. She brought that information in. They pulled out those bullets, and those bullets seem similar. The crime scene technician said these bullets seem similar to the bullets that we had on the Russ case. The judge was like, well, why weren't these bullets tested or whatever? That really doesn't matter. The whole point is this was information that the defense that was supposed to have been turned over to the defense. Whether the prosecution wanted to argue that they didn't believe that that information was relevant, it didn't matter. It still was part of this case. They should have turned it over to the defense. They didn't turn it over to the defense, and more than likely, those bullets may or may not have matched. The problem is that the prosecution didn't turn it over to the defense. The defense didn't have enough time because they had already seated a jury. They didn't have enough time to do a thorough investigation on that evidence to say whether or not these, or get an expert to say whether or not these bullets were or were not matching the bullets that killed Halima Hutchins. So they sent the jury home for the day, and they started this evidential hearing. And baby, they was going back. The lead investigator gets up there and says, oh, well, I didn't know anything about that till today. How you didn't know anything about that today? There's body cam footage showing that you were there. She was like, well, I didn't think that information, because we were trying to get with the man that brought the evidence in. We were trying to get with him, and I couldn't get him. I couldn't get him. You mean to tell me you are the lead attorney and you could not find this person? This person lives in the same place. He hasn't moved. What I'm doing is going through here because I wanted to try to find his name. I wanted to try to find his name real quick. This person. I don't know why I want to say Ketchner, but I don't think that that's the right name. And I apologize for Seth Kinney. That's his name right here. Seth Kinney. I don't know why Ketchner came up, but Seth Kinney was the person that came in. Baby, when I tell you now, if we talk about stunt shows and shenanigans, this would qualify as stunt shows and shenanigans. But I have it going on the right, because again, the stunts and the shows and the shenanigans that happened, it was a big stunt that the crime scene technician comes in and says that there are more evidence, but they moved it to another case number. So they logged the information, but they were being shisty by logging it under a different case number instead of logging it as some kind of supplemental information for that rust case. They tried to be sneaky about that. That was a stunt. The biggest show was when that judge came down off that bench. She was popping the blue gloves. She came down. They went through the evidence, and she was asking the questions like she was the prosecutor. She was asking the questions about where these bullets came from. Da 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 da. Would you agree that these bullets look similar? Yes, they did, honey. And here comes the shenanigans, baby, because the lead investigator gets up there. She talks about she didn't know anything till this day. Then her story changes to, well, as I was investigating, I didn't think that it was relevant or important. And then the judge started asking her questions about that. Then she changes her tune and says, well, I couldn't get in contact with the Seth Kenney to be able to talk with him to see if it was important enough or anything like that. Baby, when I tell you she was backpedaling and pussy popping, stumbling and fumbling all over her words, that lead investigator. And then here was the shenanigans, because that lead investigator was like, it's getting too hot in here, and if I'm gonna go down, I'm not going down by myself. Honey, she named the special prosecutor who knew about it. What's her name? Carrie Morrissey. She said, well, she knew what was going on. She was there, baby. When I told you before that the judge's lips was like this, she had lips like this, and then her lips went like this. You saw no more of her lips, honey, because she was hot. When I tell you she was hot, she was hot as fish grease. She was so hot. And so they had to have an evidentiary hearing. And so the defense kind of got in there, was asking all the questions. They asked for this case to be dismissed with prejudice because they said that they did not get information that they were supposed to have. There was a violation of the Brady rule. Baby, Carrie was not to be undone. She was trying to salvage that case because, she had been getting away with interrupting the defense and being able to talk to the judge, very colloquially, not really objecting, but just saying, well, Your Honor, and you want, and she was kind of co-signing her a little bit. Baby, she wore out her welcome quick. Carrie wore out her welcome quick. The judge had pretty much, after the judge started asking everybody questions, she called in the guy who had the body cam. She called in again the CST worker. She investigated. She talked to her, and she cross-examined the lead attorney. After she got all that information, and everybody basically said that information came in, there was an interview with this man. There was no follow-up with that with him. There was no follow-up in the evidence as far as getting that evidence tested, and they placed that evidence in a different case number. So they procedurally did what they had to do, but as far as Brady is concerned, they did not turn it over to the defense, and that's where the flaw came from. Baby, the shenanigans. Carrie got up on that stage. Ain't nobody asked her to get up there. The judge told her just as clear. She didn't need her testimony, excuse me. She didn't need her testimony, but Carrie's like, I'm gonna put all this on the record because y'all are not gonna have me out here looking crazy. She gets up there and she begins to say she claims that they reviewed the evidence and they didn't feel like that evidence was important enough. That's the words that I'm going to use. That's not what she said, but I'm just paraphrasing that. She felt like that evidence wasn't important enough, and she didn't think that it was come in. Baby, when I tell you, every time Carrie spoke and got her feet, she was just digging her grave. Baby, we saw the lips of that judge. We didn't get to see no more of them lips because at that point she was through. The judge was through. So the judge did her ruling, and she basically said that she felt like the police and the prosecutor knew that evidence was there. They knew that those bullets looked similar. Instead of placing that evidence with the Rust case, they tried to be sneaky and conniving and put that evidence over there in a separate case record, and then did not notify the defense that evidence existed, and they had already set a jury. They had already taken sworn testament. She said that she was sanctioning the prosecution. And let me tell you, the other prosecutor, once she realized that there was some stunt shows and shenanigans going on, baby, she chucked the deuce and was gone. So by the time Carrie got on stage, she was the only person left at the prosecution table. The other prosecutor was like, no, 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 no. I know better than that. And you're not fixing to get me tied up in no BS because I have got to be in courtrooms in New Mexico. And, it's my name out here. If you want to sully your name, that's fine. But my name will not be sullied amongst this mess. So All that to say is that's my quick as quick as I could to give you that quick analysis of what happened in that Alec Baldwin trial. His case was dismissed. Wasn't really about his behavior on the set, which I thought was atrocious. It wasn't about his behavior on the set or anything like that. It is because the prosecution violated rules of law, and the judge had no choice but to dismiss it and dismiss it with prejudice. So they will not be able to bring that case back up on Alec Baldwin. So he is a free man on that. Now, for the civil lawsuits and stuff like that, they probably going to keep pouring in because again, he was a producer on that on that film. So he has a liability. He will be facing a lot of liability with the fallout from that case. So I just wanted to kind of get you that information in, child, because that was a mess. A mess. And I saw that in real time. So I wanted to go over this because I keep telling y'all I don't follow this case for personal reason and because it's just too long. But again, let's talk about the YSL, the Young Thug RICO case that's going on in the county, Fulton County. So, baby, again, some stunt shows and shenanigans going on, but I will just be very brief. Judge Glanville was removed from this case. According to what the ruling from the judge that followed this, she basically said she didn't see that the ex parte meeting was out of order. She just thought that because Judge Glanville didn't allow for another judge to hear the contempt charges or anything like that, that was out of order. So he has been removed. I am not sure at this point, as I talk to you all right now, if there is another if there's another judge assigned to a case. I am assuming that there is another judge assigned to the case. Judge Krause. So I just wanted to read to you a little bit of what the Judge Krause said. And I'm pulling this from ABC News, written by the Associated Press. So I should have gone to the Associated Press if this is where they were getting their story from. While not, and it's right here, while not faulting Glanville for holding the meeting and saying she has no doubt that Judge Glanville can and would continue presiding fairly over this matter, Krause wrote the necessity of preserving the public's confidence in the judicial system weighs in favor of excusing Judge Glanville from the case. So, they're saying that this is going to cause more delays. I imagine so because you have a jury that has been seated. Because it took you what? Almost almost a year, 6 months to get this jury seated. You have this jury seated. They have been going over evidence for at least 6 or 7 months, and now you have them stalled. They've gone back to work or everything, but you have them stalled. There is a new judge on the case. uh so that judge has to come up to speed, and those defense attorneys are going to be like, hey, because you have to think about the jury came in with one judge, and they went out with one judge, and now they're coming back in with a new judge. So they're going to have some questions about what's going on. Are we going to see the defense pull full motions to dismiss? I'm interested in that. I'm interested in that. Again, it's not a case that I was following, but there's so many stunt shows and shenanigans about this particular case that I did wanted to go over that with you. And child, listen, because we had the issue with Fannie Willis, because this is all Fannie Willis's office. We had those issues, but I also see that y'all, Woody, the witness in question, I think he had started a YouTube page, child. Because I saw like in my recommended, couple of the other attorneys have started YouTube pages, and I've gone to those and listened to what they're saying. But I think Woody done started him a YouTube page, child. Y'all, y'all better go follow Woody to see what he got to say. A mess, a mess, a mess. All right, so that's it for that. I don't have anything more on that. Now, this last thing, because I wasn't covering it. I honestly wasn't covering it because at first I thought this seemed like BS, but I'm glad I didn't because what was put out here in the zeitgeist of social media, it ended up that what we thought wasn't. So there are a lot of my mutuals have gone over this case, uh gone over this information. So y'all go back and y'all follow them. I'm gonna pull one up, just one moment. Because I gotta get, I like to get names correct. Hmm. Donald Trump announced his running mate. He announced JD Vance as his vice presidential pick. Who is JD Vance? Y'all know who he is? Look him up. Look him up. Y'all go check out Dr. Keisha. She did a two-part series on that, and she hit a whole lot of points. Let me see. Let me see if I can put her information in the chat. Give me one moment. But she did it. All I'm doing, y'all, is just giving y'all overviews. I'm just gonna give y'all overviews. When I tell you I'm giving overviews, I'm giving overviews. So we saw in the news that we saw in the news where you saw Michael Ealy giving giving Megan this big old hug, uh and everything like that. And baby, when I tell you the internets, the shade roos, the all this other stuff, baby, when I tell you they were showing out, they were showing out. And what we didn't realize from that whole debacle was the fact that I think this is the video that y'all can. You didn't paste it? I'll get it to y'all. Don't worry about it. But from that whole debacle, that was chopped and screwed and edited, because it made it look like Michael Ealy's son, Jonathan Majors, he didn't talk to him or anything. He just went and reached for Megan, picked her up and everything like that, and then went on and didn't acknowledge them. So we see that there was a portion of that video, probably maybe like 3 or 4 seconds, that was eradicated from that video to make you give that opinion. And baby, everybody and their grandma was on here, because I didn't comment on it, because I was like, I need to wait, something I need to see. But everybody commented on it, and I was glad that I waited, because we do find that he did greet him. Now, like I said, it was probably maybe 3 to 4 seconds before, but there was a greeting. But one of the things that I saw through there, it just, I have just come to the understanding that he is the person to dislike in our community. And so we're going to dislike him until we just can't, till the next person comes up that they're going to dislike, because it's almost gotten to a damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because you talked about him being violent, you talked about him being awkward. Now you're talking about, well, if I was him, I would have done this, I would have beat him up. You all just won't let this man, you won't let him cycle through. You won't let him live. You won't let him live. So now you want him to be busting heads for someone being picked up, when all I can say is, I mean, I can clearly understand. Men, I've heard you. I clearly understand that would unnerve you or make you feel some kind of way with some other man lifting up your woman off her feet and the giggling and other stuff like that. I hear that. I understand that. I think that there should have been a conversation. I do not think that there should be a conversation about that uh between you two as men. So between if it had panned out the way the public had initially said it panned out, I think that there should have been a conversation. Again, we talk about emotional intelligence and we talk about conflict resolution. These are the things that we want to be able to see in this young man. emotional intelligence and conflict resolution. So maybe they had a conversation or not. I'm not sure. I do not know. I know that Megan Good got on here and she was saying something about that it was misconstrued and everything, the way that you all had put it out in the media. That's not what had happened. And I've seen other people saying, well, he should have said something. When he said that Megan was his Coretta, y'all got mad at the man. So now he don't say nothing. Now y'all mad at the man. Because when he was talking before, you said he should shut up. Now he done shut up. Y'all say he's supposed to be talking. Again, I think he is the person to hate right now until the next person comes along to have all this vitriol and hate. Because because Diddy had taken up that, but now that Diddy stuff has kind of died down, and he's back in the media and everything like that. So I think he's the person to hate right now until the next person. But I will tell you this. I think that we all as a community, and I'm talking about Black folks in America, uh, we as a community, we have to figure out how to do certain things without making it seem like we all just hate each other. Now I know, Pam, you're being hyperbolic, you're being all those different things. All I'm saying is this, and this is why I've always spoken uh about the gender wars and how it looks. You all get on these We get on these platforms and we're spewing out all this information, and we're being uh Black women on this side, Black men on this side. If something happens, everybody is bad mouthing each other. Y'all have to understand that it doesn't do the community good. Y'all need to get together and figure out ways to talk these things through, than to get on the internet that Black women aren't crap, or to get on the internet that Black men aren't crap, to get on the internet and go back and forth with each other with all of these statistics and stats and all of these little different things. Y'all are talking to the wrong people and listening to the wrong people. And like I've said before, I love us good, bad, and indifferent. And I will say it too like this. If you are a Black woman and you want to be single, live your best single life. If you are a Black woman that wants to be married, pursue your best married life. Don't listen to these people that are on with these mics. You know what? I'm getting to the point now where I think that these microphones ought to be taxed like cigarettes. There should be taxes. Because some of us are showing out too bad. Some of us are showing out too bad. And if we don't make it as cost effective as it is to get on this mic, now I'm not trying to say, oh, people shouldn't be able to say their opinion. But I just think that if you do not have the expertise in a subject, I wouldn't speak on it. There's no way in the world that I get up here and speak on how to be married. I've never been married. I never desired to be married. So I couldn't get on here and to talk to you about what it is to be married. But what I can do is support your right to want to be married. I don't think that you're bad. I don't think you're a pick me. I don't think you're a simp. I don't think any of those things if that's what you want to be. Because all of us strive for relationships. Some of us just don't want to strive for those types of permanent types of relationships. And that's okay, in my opinion. You want to be married? You know who you talk to? You talk to people who are married. You talk to people in the different stages of marriage that you're going to go through. You talk to the newlyweds who just got married, who've been married for under 5 years. You talk to them, you ask them what's going on, not to get into their business, but how are they navigating what's going on in their first 5 years of marriage? You talk to those people who've been married 5 and 10 years of marriage. You talk to how they've navigated those 5 to 10 years and what information they can glean to you. You talk to those people that have been married for over 10 years. You ask them how, what they're doing and what do they do, and get the information to glean from them, right? Everybody is not perfect going into a marriage. Everyone has flaws, but a person's flaws should not be your deal breaker. If you know that you don't like to be, you want to be monogamous, and you don't want to have sex with anybody else, and that's what you want from your partner, you do not allow a hoe to court you, because a hoe gonna be a hoe. And there's nothing that you're going to be able to do. Your love and your sex is not going to keep that hoe from being a hoe. Whatever the standards are, there are men and there are women that will meet those standards. My question to you is, are you the best version of yourself that you can be? I hear a lot of men talk about they want a certain type of woman. Those women exist. But you will also say those women exist and they are not visually what you think they should look like. Because I know you talk about the Instagram models, but see, you want the Instagram model to be the model. You want Pretty Woman, and she don't exist. That was a movie. You want a woman with morals and standards? Women with moral standards are not Instagram models. Not to say that I'm not trying again. I'm not in here trying to talk about whether or not that these people are good people or not. I'm talking about standards. If there are certain standards that you have, 9 times out of 10, an Instagram model is not the standard that you're looking for. If you're looking for uh, a chaste woman and a woman who's gonna cook and clean and do all of these different things, you're not getting that out of an Instagram model. You're not. You're not getting all of that from the lady at the strip club. Now, what you're getting is a good time for the short run. But unless those people have switched their thinking and switched their thing to do something different, you're not getting that from those people. So stop looking at it. Ladies, everybody that's 6 foot tall is not the best man in the world. Y'all are discounting these men that are 5'5" to 5'11". And especially if you're 5'5", 5'3". You're discounting these men. These men, some of these men are good people. And you're discounting them because they're not 6 feet and over. And quiet as it's kept and loud as I'm about to say it. A lot of those people who are 6 feet, they know this and they will cut the fool. Cut the fool. All right, people. So all I'm gonna say about that Megan Good, Michael Ealy, and Jonathan Majors thing, it seems like they have resolved that, whatever it was. It just seemed like two people who were in the business and they were greeting each other, and it just went over. To me, it went a little overboard, and that's it. All right, people. That's all I got. That's all I got. Please like, comment, and subscribe to this video. Please share this video if you care. Again, I just wanted to go back over Stunt Shows and Shenanigans Season 2 will start on Sunday, this coming Sunday at 6 p.m. So y'all look forward to seeing me there. And if something else comes up within the week that is completely major, y'all check it out. I'm gonna leave Dr. Keisha's information in my you know, my description box. I'll leave her information in the description box to that video. All right, people, we do this every week. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video if you care. Please tell your friend, tell a kin, tell your coworker, tell that heifer that you can't stand that I'm over here making these videos, child. And as always, people, bye-bye.